Like I promised you earlier, today one of the biggest topics that we are going to delve into is the NSS farms. I'm very excited about it because, you know, back in the day I was having a discussion with Brenda, our producer, and we were talking about the fact that when we were in school, the course we were doing at Greek, it was actually mandatory for us to be planting. So whether you like it or not, you have to plant either tomatoes or plant maybe a yam or plant pepper. So we learned how to farm in schools. But you know, in recent times it's not happening. And so we are very excited that the NSS took this initiative to create their farms, and now their produce are getting ready. Hooray! They have soya bean, they have corn, and of course they have rice as well. And this will also be used for the school feeding program so that we can help cut down on costs and have healthy meals for these children. Take a look at this video.
Education Minister visited the Economic Enclave project located at Botantri in Sechokumewu to assess the progress of work at the farms. The project is implemented in 3 key locations in the Greater Accra, Oti and Ashanti regions. At the Sechokumewu farms, under the supervision of the National Service Scheme, over 20,000 acres of land have been cultivated, with some farm produce already being harvested. Under the first phase of the project, the farms located on a vast land have maize, soya bean and rice. Executive Director of NSS, Osei Esibe Entry, says produce from the farms are expected to support school feeding programs and free senior high schools.
National Service is a governmental institution, and therefore if government is supporting us to grow maize, rice and soya beans, then the end result is also going to support government projects and government program. And the government program that is going to support is the school feeding as well as the senior high school. That is where we want to channel our support to. That is not just to say these are the only 2 areas we are envisaging, because as at now we even have an MOU signed with the Poultry Farmers Association. So we also have them that we also be supporting them. So we will be producing for Ghana as a whole.
Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Educhum believes the cost for feeding program can be reduced through the locally produced food commodities.
You see, the school feeding program, you can reduce costs when you get products from the farm. Literally, you are buying at warehouse prices, wholesale prices. The items bought here will be cheaper than what you buy from the market, reducing your cost of production, reducing your cost of preparing the meals. Also make the project more sustainable, because you can feed the children with more, with less money, and they will get more for less. And same thing applies to the free senior high school program.
Minister hinted at the government's plan to reintroduce school farms for hands-on experience for students in agriculture.
They're also supporting the setup of school farms, and that together will really create opportunity for the sustainability of our programs, whether it's school feeding or the feeding of students at the high school level. The 1 hot meal for day students and 3 meals for boarding students.
The Economic Enclave project aims at providing agricultural infrastructure and land development support to the entrepreneurial youth and the formal private sector. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku. The Education Minister visited the Economic Enclave project.
Aren't we all excited about this particular project? We'll delve into that topic, but let me first start with what the newspapers have for us. Let me introduce my guests first, and then we'll go into what the newspapers have, and then we discuss this particular topic as well. Good morning, Manasseh Tabuahin.
Good morning, Rosalind.
How are you today?
Very well, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Manasseh is representing the NPP, and we know he's a government spokesperson on economy. Okay, now let me come to the NDC man. And I don't know, today I was actually going to say, oh, Richard, you are tardy. And then he came in early. Good morning, Richard Manarubi.
Good morning.
How are you?
Super.
Great, it's good to have you. You're looking nice.
Oh, thank you. By the grace of John Dramani Mama.
Why he gave you some
What
money?
has he done? What has he done in this regard?
A buffer of economy that I'm managing is small.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You look really nice.
Even in
Are you sure you don't have any meeting after?
Oh, I don't have any meeting. I just want to come and speak to Ghanaians.
Oh, okay. Hey, I see. They look like this every day for us.
Thank you.
I'll start off with the very first one, which is the Daily Statesman newspaper. The Daily Statesman newspaper reads, Mahama under fire over dangerous comments about the judiciary. We'll be talking about that today. Jubilee House claims of 77 security personnel leaving untrue. Impose taxes on alcohol, cigarette for mental health fund, says psychiatrist. NSS farms to supply maize for SHS students, and of course, like I said earlier, we'll talk about that as well. And BOG, our clean notes policy is a role model for Africa. The New Crusading Guide newspaper. Galamsey activities in Asawinso. MCE Assembly member fingered. Asogli State Council celebrate Togbe Afede. I'll try and get these figures because I'm not too sure of it. For 20 years of leader, okay, the 20th for 20 years of leadership. Massive turnout at Dokuye's Okaikwe North Health screening. BOG acted in the broader interest of Ghana. Prim Park boss says so. And Mahama cries out, Ghana's judiciary packed with NPP inclined judges. The Finder newspaper. EcoBank staff donate items cash worth 280,000 Ghana cedis to 4 institutions. No security personnel left Jubilee House over unfair treatment, says presidency. Ghana poised to tap into $34.1 billion global salt industry. Jinapo says so. Pring Park president others Lord BOG for positive collaboration with the media. Cyber Security Authority records 41,285 contacts. Dr. Impiboisiako says so. And the banner headline reads, Ghana card registration open to all from today, as only 87 public sector workers registered in 5 days. The Ghanaian Publisher newspaper is the next. It reads, former security chief praises Jinapo over his prison release. Ashanti did not betray Alan. Majority leader says so. Presidency rubbishes unfair treatment of security officers claim. Cyber security declares October Public Awareness Month, and NPS cylinder recirculation model takes off. Now, this recirculation model, I've said it countless times about how excited I am about it because, keeping an old cylinder or a faulty cylinder actually is a very dangerous one. So the recirculation tells you that you're going to have almost new cylinders almost all the time, which is good. Now, the Daily Guide newspaper is my next newspaper. Student fetish priest killed by fire. I saw the video and I was wondering Come on. So what? Is he a fetish priest? This one is not part of our topics. But is he really a fetish priest?
What's it about?
You've not heard about it? So there's a student who says he's a whole fetish priest. Fetish priest though. So he was wearing their task thing and walked through fire. Yes, in the university. Walked through fire and the fire just caught it and he got burned. He's dead. Oh. Yeah, he died. The video has been trending. I know you said I'll talk about it during what's trending. Zongo Inner City's health outreach launched. Mahama attacks Nana and judges. Your prayers gave me victory. I need more, says Dr. Baumia. And Alan speaks tomorrow. Okay. All right, so he's speaking today, I'm guessing. Let me see page 3 for that. Alan Kojo Martin, the presidential candidate hopeful of the ruling New Patriotic Party, is set to address the public on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, following the analysis of the results of the special electoral college election by his Alan for President A4P 2024 campaign team. All right. It's tomorrow he's addressing the nation. Right. Our final newspaper is the Daily Graphic newspaper. Probe committee to invite IGP for questioning. We cannot wait to hear this one. Smallholder farmers benefit from $69.7 million project. Expect more rains up to November, GMET warns. The rains, even this morning I was saying to myself that it looks like We've had a rainy season all year round. We haven't had any dry season at all. I don't know if the Hamatan will be coming this December, but the rain seems not to be stopping anytime soon. Labour Commission directs CTAG to end strike, and Eric Nyamiche inducted Pentecost chairman. Congratulations, Apostle Eric Nyamiche. That'll be all for what the newspapers have for us. And I've already introduced my guests to you for this morning's news flash segment. And we are going to be talking about the NSS farm produce. Currently, they are producing corn, they are producing rice, they are producing soya bean. This is to aid with the school feeding program so they can cut down on costs and also be able to feed these children with healthy, sumptuous meals. I'll start this conversation with you, Manasseh Atabwahi.
Roslyn, a very good morning to you, and a very good morning to my brother Richard and our cherished viewers as well. I mean, I was very elated when I read news of the NSS farm being able to produce, some 500 bags of maize. As you see, when I cast my mind back as recent as in 2006, when I was in the secondary school in Kumasi at Opokuwari School, I remember we had vast land where we cultivated even maize, oranges, and the likes. And so during those times, it was very unheard of that schools were finding difficulties having farm produce to feed the students. And so I believe this is a very good initiative, and the National Service Scheme together with the government should be highly commended and patted at the back. And for me, I know most schools, you see, when you go to most secondary schools today, you realize that they still have vast land at their disposal. As to whether they still embark on massive agricultural production, I'm not too sure, because it's been a while I myself visited these schools. But I hope it's a step in the right direction when we heard the Minister of Education and even the Director of NSS in Kumasi mentioning this stuff, that the government will soon consider school farms. And I heard one of the directors giving some analogies that they want to even make it like a school policy whereby a student might spend maybe some 20 minutes in a week to work on the farm, and this would even
But we used to do it though.
We used to do it. That's what I'm saying. I myself, exactly. So I believe it's a good thing. And when you look at what happened, especially in 2021 and in 2022, where we were having challenges with the school feeding program, most secondary schools complaining of not getting food to feed the students. If we had done this to the highest scale, I don't think common food staples like maize, like rice, I mean, it would be something that would be out of stock. And so the government is highly commended in this regard, and I am very confident that we would put in more resources to ensure that we are able to support the secondary schools to cultivate more. And you see, the very essence of this is that once the school is able to grow most of these food staples on their own, it would ensure that the prices of these stuffs drops. And the reason is that, you see, sometimes we are not too sure what we even buy on the market. We are not too sure the kind of inorganic fertilizer that was even used to cultivate the maize and the rice that we are consuming. And so when the school is able to grow these foodstuffs on their own, they'll be very sure of what they are eating. And once they have a lot of this at their disposal, I don't think going forward we would have challenges with schools, closing down. We had incidences of some schools in the northern region and which had to close down because they were struggling to get food, and which is very unfortunate. And so I am confident that once the NSS story is out there, and as we speak, we have 20,000 acres of land at Seche Kumewu, and they're able to produce such huge tons of maize. I am confident that going forward we'll be able to expand these, and very soon we would have some NSS people starting work, and I know government would secure a lot of these lands. Talking of the economic enclave program or project, you remember in the advent of the COVID or the external shocks, even the war in Ukraine, where the country suffered hugely because we were having deficiencies in the supply of fertilizer. Government birthed this economic enclave program under the Ghana Cares of program, and what we sought to do was to cultivate food staples, basic ones like the maize, rice, even poultry and vegetables, so that it will limit our rate of dependency on this basic agricultural produce. It's quite disheartening to know that even onions, we do imports from Niger and other countries, and so whenever there are economic or political tension in those countries, we tend to be affected. And so it's a good project the government is embarking on. And as we speak, we have various places where the economic enclave project is ongoing. Government seeks to expedite our efforts in ensuring that we are able to grow what we eat in country, so that it would reduce the rate at which we depend on our neighboring countries, especially for basic agricultural produce, which shouldn't be the case.
Right, thank you, Manasseh. Richard?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rosemary. Let me say good
Do you need some water?
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Okay.
Because his explanation shocked my throat, so no problem.
Well,
so let me say
happy.
Let me say good morning to your cherished viewers, and good morning to the good people of Nkwanta South constituency and Oti region.
Is that where you're contesting?
That's why I've contested before.
Okay, but will you contest again?
Before?
Yes, twice.
Wow.
Twice, right?
Once.
Oh, is it once? Oh, okay, I thought twice.
Are you going again this time around?
Never say never.
I like that. Yes. I like that story. Anyway, yes,
and
Richard.
I said good morning to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the members of the NDC across the country. And I want to urge Ghanaians that there's hope. In as much as they are crying foul, in as much as they don't have food to eat, in as much as they don't have water to drink, sooner or sooner, I think we'll have 27 months more, and 17 months more to hand over power to President John Dramani Mahama, and things will be well. Rosalind, the National Service cultivation maize and rice, I think that let's commend the NDC, let's commend President John Dramani Mahama for this good initiative that has been done. Rosalind, I mean, it's amazing him. You know, remember, back in 2012, when President Mills realized that buffer stock was collapsed, and then that was buffer stock company was collapsed, and we're having issues of feeding the Ghana Prison Service, Ghana Police Service, and those things. President Mills then initiated National Service Farming Program, and then we started with this maize and rice program, and then that's why we revamped Aveme rice and as well. So we expanded that to make sure that we have enough stock, so that's why we actually revamped buffer stock. So in that case, we started this cultivation of National Service Program. And remember those days, you recall, that was a wise time. We were able to cultivate about 20 tons of maize and then rice and all those things that we had in a buffer that we'll be able to salvage products like that. But when this government came, they collapsed that system, and it has not been working for almost 7 years now. So if this government has made up their mind that they are going to revamp this project, I will commend them by revamping the project that the NDC has done, because it's been worried. It's been something we've been talking about, that the initiative that put in National Service Program is a problem, because we realize that if you go to Tamale, there's an agric school there, and then even the UGS, we have an agric sector that we've trained more of the students. If we go to the agric sector, so we said, okay, when we have these people, when they complete school and they're going to do national service, why do you go and put them in the Ministry of Communication? What idea did they have? You go and put them in the Ministry of Health. What idea did they have? So make sure that all those people will be put into the farm. So we secure the land he's talking about and make sure we started the project, but for some time, it has not been working.
So you secure the land.
We secure the land. Started the project. The produce has come of 20 tons. I can recall.
Okay.
Yes, that's
under
what
the NDC.
Under the NDC, okay. And then we revamped Aveme rice as well.
So it's the same land that they are
still using.
Okay.
It's not any new thing that they are trying to plow.
Okay.
So I asked always to say that Dr. Edichum is somebody I respect a lot. He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
So if you realize that this initiative that President John Dramani Mahama was doing, but because of political expediency, they've abandoned it and tried to revamp it. And I think they've made 500 bags. And that's no news. 500 bags, that's no news. I think they can do more, they can do better.
It's a start, isn't it?
Yes, no, it's been there for long.
No, I mean,
it's been there for long. I was thinking that the planting for food and jobs they were talking about, government would have invested enough money into the NSS program so they will be able to expand it and make sure they get more food. But it's a good initiative that they have continued President John Dramani Mahama initiative. So if you even look at what President John Mahama is doing, that in as much as we are trying to feed students, because they have brought a school feeding program in the secondary school, that's a hot meat program, and students didn't have food to eat. So that's why we say that, yes, we understand the situation. Yes, we know it is tough. We're going to bring Operation Feed Yourself. We are going to bring Operation Feed Yourself so that we initiate an appetizing agriculture sector so that everybody, you remember the backyard garden 10. We initiate you when you are farming, build your house, you leave a garden for yourself. Once you are feeding yourself, we initiate Ministry of Youth and Ministry of Agriculture to Ministry of Agriculture and Agribusiness so that we'll be able to expand more of it so that once we are feeding ourselves and we expand the agribusiness and other people can buy the produce, then we will initiate proper initiative on the national service program that we initiated, and today they are presented. But so there's hope for this country, and President John Dramani.
But is it they who are actually happy, or it's all Ghanaians? Because this is for everybody. But even if you started it, actually it's the fact that they have resurrected it.
I believe that when we are talking about double-track educational system in this country, I will praise President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo because he brought the blue, light, green education to the system. I will praise President John Dramani Mahama of progressive free education. I will praise President Kufuor for FQ. I will praise President Moss for schools as a phrase. I will praise Kwame Nkrumah for Northern Scholarship. I will praise some other people, President Rollins for Get Fast Scholarship. So when somebody does something and gets to something, when you are continuing and there's progress, you give the person the recommendation and acknowledge him for what he has done. Okay. That's exactly what I mean. So I want to thank President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC for this good initiative that we have brought, and thank Dr. Edichum for continuing the good job of President John Dramani Mahama. Right.
Okay. Richard has spoken. Manasseh, do you want to say anything or move on to our next topic?
I don't know why the NDC is so much fixated in accruing to themselves credit that they are not worth. You see, Richard made a statement that this 20,000 acres of land at Seche Kumewu was purchased by the NDC or under the NDC. This is a palpable lie. You can do your own checks, and you see this land was acquired in June 2022. June 2022. So I don't know, maybe just last year, former President Mahama was still the president.
They acquired a different land. Manasseh, so maybe there is another land that they acquired.
He mentioned Seche Kumewu, the 20,000 acres of land that the National Service Scheme acquired. And he said it was acquired by the NDC, and we are only continuing what they did. And I am telling him today on authority that the land was acquired in June 2022, so it cannot be said that it was the NDC that acquired this. You see, we have to.
Let me ask him something, and then you come in. Manasseh, Richard, which of the lands did you acquire?
So, Manasseh, what?
No, I'm asking you a question.
The Seche Kumewu land is talking about. If the 20,000 acres is talking about, it might be additional land that they have acquired into it.
Because he's trying to place
wait.
Were you the one who purchased it? Yes or no?
Manasseh, let me let him answer. Did you purchase that 20,000 acres?
I know on authority that we purchased acres of land there.
But you don't know how many.
So I don't know how much. So if they are adding additional acres of land,
please.
So yours was not 20,000.
It was even more than 20,000.
It was more than 20,000. But it could be that it's a different land that they are. Okay, all right, that's fine. Let's move on then.
And Manasseh knows that this initiative.
Richard, don't worry.
I'm just making a point because at the time that Manasseh was doing national survey, he knows that some of his colleagues were in farming maize, and they were national survey business.
Manasseh,
you know that there was millions of tons at the buffer stock from national survey.
Okay, Richard. Manasseh.
You see, the truth has to be established that this same 20,000 acres of land was never acquired under the NDC. It was us who did this.
And
you see this. I want to. You see,
I think what it is that they actually.
It is not an additional land.
No, wait. I think what it is that the NDC had their own that they started.
At where?
Wait, I said, and then but this actually initiative is the NPP's initiative.
Of course,
this is fully NPP. Let's continue.
You see, most often than not, we want to have this.
NPP has come to continue the initiative.
Okay.
And it's a different thing.
Let's continue, Manasseh.
So you see, this is a national issue. In fact, when it comes to food security, I dare say that food security is a national security issue as well. And so in having conversations in this regard, we do not want to highly politicize it. That's why I'm saying this is a very brilliant initiative where government seeks to do more. But when some people want to take the credit for things they have not done, then it distorts the very brilliant initiative and purpose of the program. And I want to reiterate that government would continue to do more. As I speak, there is a lot in the pipeline concerning the economic enclave project, and very soon we would see more of what government is doing so that Ghanaians will know what is happening.
You can NDC unveil policy on agricultural modernization.
No, the 20,000 acres of land at Seche Kumewu. That's what we are talking about. And he even mentioned that the 500 bags of maize is even small, because they started the project, in 2016 or something, and it's taking a while.
I'm establishing the research. I'll get them.
You can Graphic Online publish this.
So Graphic Online's publishing is a little bit. So what they said is that NSS to deploy 100,000 service personnel as it targets one district, one farm, and it says that NSS is targeting a new policy which will soon be implemented to breathe more life into its youth in agriculture program. The Deputy Director of the scheme in charge of operations, Mr. Henry Nanabuache, has hinted. Now, this actually he hinted in 2017. That's what he said. However, Richard is also saying, Richard, what do you have? Can I read it out?
Yes, you can as well.
We'll try and get it. And so we know that looking at it, Nanabuache said in the 2016-2017 service year, the NSS deployed 2,000 national service personnel into agriculture to augment activities on 8 farms, and that the scheme sought to increase the number in 2017-2018 service year to improve such agriculture activities. Right.
Rosalie.
So this we've seen. So Manasseh has also brought his own. Yes. NSS acquires 20,000 acres of commercial farming. The National Service Scheme has acquired 20,000 acres of farmland in the Kumewu area of the Ashanti region for a commercial farming estate. Known as Kumewu Youth Farm, the project will start with the cultivation of maize, rice, and soya. And this is dated June 2022.
Yeah, so this is what we are talking about. That's why I cannot sit here and let Richard go with all these palpable lies that they secure the land and all of that. But we want to ensure, like I was saying, it's almost every secondary school has vast land. And so if government is able to support them to even grow some of these staples, it will be
let's look at this.
Okay, you found one.
This is 2014. Who was in power in 2014?
Oh, we know who was in power in 2014. We'll just read it out. So, National Service Scheme to expand farms in 2014, 27th May 2014, it reads, the National Service Scheme is seeking to expand its farm projects in the Greater Accra region. Currently, the NSS has a crop farm at Dawenya, where tomatoes, maize, green pepper, and cucumber are cultivated, and a livestock farm at Nungwa with more than 10,500 animals. So yours is rather at Dawenya.
Yes, but not Kumewu.
Very well.
So that's the issue in contention.
It's just simple.
So that's why I said the NDC has this, and then the NPP.
Ours was not only maize, it was cucumber, it was tomatoes, it was animal, it was pepper.
How many acres?
And then when we are feeding people, you should feed them with everything. Just not only maize and that is.
Okay. So but they actually, you know, the Minister of Education spoke about the fact that they are going to look into livestock very soon.
So it's something we are doing. We are continuing with what we are doing. We did. So I should recommend President John Dramani Mahama.
No, Richard.
That's what I mean.
Okay. I did not even comment.
I think where the issue is here is, please, I know where the misunderstanding is going. The issue here is that Richard wants us to accept that it was started by John Dramani Mahama, the whole idea of NSS. However, NSS farms, this 20,000 acres was not acquired by the NDC.
That is the point I want to make to him.
So I said
that is the point he has to understand. I did not even comment.
Okay. No, you see, we moved on.
I did not even comment on whether or not NDC started this thing. My only interest was that.
So we've cleared the
My only interest was that this 20,000 acres of land we were talking about was not acquired under the NDC, but he sat here and lied. So that was not
didn't lie. No.
You said you acquired it.
We have only continue. Richard, we have fled it.
We have additional land.
What do you mean by this? It's a different land. It's not an additional land.
Can we control?
It's a different land.
Let's make progress, please, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Okay, so we move on to our next topic, and I don't know. Probably because we're getting to election year, so everybody has to claim what they've done, whether you like it or not.
That's what it's doing.
So
they've done
nothing. No, it's actually marketing.
Yes, they want to claim everything.
It's a marketing strategy. Everybody has to claim what they've done. So we move on. Let's move on to the Office of the Special Prosecutor versus Cecilia Dapa. We heard last week that the court has actually ordered the Office of the Special Prosecutor to return all seized items by the Office of the Special Prosecutor back to Madam Cecilia Dapa. And you know, it's raised a lot of concerns. I asked some few questions about if it's even going to make the current government unpopular, but some say no, others are saying yes, it could. Now, with a lot of development coming in, Mary Ada has spoken, and she's saying that fighting corruption in Ghana is actually a lonely endeavor. Now, after she spoke, we know that Richard Ahiagba has also spoken, and not just Richard Ahiagba, but other people have spoken. We want to delve into this particular issue. So, Madam Mary Ada says fighting corruption in Ghana is a lonely endeavor. Do you agree with her?
You see, Rosalind, I disagree. And I also took time to watch her on Newsfile, right, on Saturday. And her contention was that because the court disagrees with the application that was filed by the OSP, that was the issue she had. She believes it is creating the impression as if there has been some dilly-dallying in the Cecilia Dapa issue. But I want to state that the OSP, as an establishment of law, is not sacrosanct in what it does. The OSP is also guided by law. And so when the OSP deviates from the law and we have a court that is able to establish the legalities in the operations of the OSP, it shouldn't be seen as if the OSP is being prevented from doing what it is supposed to do. And you see, when you read the ruling of the court, you will understand that it looks as if the OSP is paying more attention to public sentiments, focusing too much on the media, and even especially focusing too much on the propaganda the NDC is doing. Because you see, court doesn't work with public sentiments, emotions, and all of that. Courts work with evidence and facts and legalities. And so if you want to freeze, you are filing an application to freeze someone's property, and you have not been able to, in all these weeks, you've not been able to establish whether or not, you know, the possession of these foreign currencies is equal to the woman owning it. And also whether the OSP has not been able to even establish whether or not there is corruption in this regard. And so once there are no issues of corruption, if the court has ruled that the OSP returns the money to the woman, I think these are legal issues. And so the OSP and the court can look at what the law says. You know, the law is distinct from our emotions and what we think. What you think is not the law. The law has its own tenets.
So you should have gone to court to secure some sort of license to be able to seize the properties. Is that what it's supposed to be? Because from what Mahama Ayariga said, he said that the law says apply for confirmation of the seizure within 7 days. And I'm saying that the special prosecutor did not do that. He did not do that.
Yeah, so you see, in the first place, the OSP is not even sure as to the ownership of these resources, as to whether it truly belongs to the woman, so it will be able to probe further into how she got them, or whether she's only having it in her possession. And so if you are unable to prove the ownership of such huge volumes of foreign currency, how then would you be able to conclude that these are tainted I mean,
but I think what you should have done was probably, even after the seizure, go to court for confirmation of the seizure. That would have probably solidified it more than, you know, not doing it and the court's coming after you to tell you that release it. But, you know, special prosecutor says, I'm not going to just go down the drain just like that. I'm going to fight it and going to see how best I can, you know, solve this issue. Let me bring Richard in this conversation.
So Rosalind, let our viewers know, every government in this country, right down from President Rawlings, even have tried to fight corruption in this country. That's why he was strengthening the criminal code, as he started with, even from independence. And then so we fought corruption, and you all know what President Rawlings, Poverty and Accountability, that's what the NDC stands for. The MPP time, when President Kufuor came, President Kufuor realized that the Attorney General was not doing well in fighting corruption. You remember who was Attorney General? It was then another Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So he set up an SFO, you remember? Set up SFO, that's serious fraud office, because there was a lot of fraud in the system, and what he needed to do is to set up fraud office. And you recall when Oyumi was given a contract wrongly by the OBM and Co. and for the stadium maintenance, and they said it was corruption. When President Mills realized it, President Mills moved SFO to Yoko, and what happened? Yoko has freezed President Oyumi's account. And it was so many years before Oyumi's account was released, because he has to face court charges, he has to face everything. President John Dramani Mahama, under him, he also makes sure that, because when we had oil, he brought PIAC, and PIAC was monitoring every sector of energy economy, and then you couldn't dare make sure that this, and even at the time, that's where I was working then, when Abu Gapele had issues, he under us, President Mills prosecuted Abu Gapele, and Abu Gapele was jailed, even though the court said he was not that corrupt, because he was a lack of negligence, and that led him to that. President Dankwa Akufo-Addo also came and said he was going to set up special prosecutor. And when he set up prosecutor, he brought Mati Amidu to come and run special prosecutor's office. And we said, yeah, it is good, because if you build, because all the successful government has built fought corruption very well, and so. Mati Amidu came to tell us something. We took it like a joke. He said the presidency is the mother shepherd of corruption, and the presidency is an entrepreneur of corruption. And when they say something entrepreneur, you know what entrepreneur means? Entrepreneur means in tree, baby, and that is entrepreneur of corruption. And he said the president and the presidency, that was his word. And we thought it was a joke. And then quite not long, then we had an issue, and I was sent to special prosecutor. What was the issue? I will record that issue. And then what happened? Then this issue, that was a Japa Royal deal. And what happened was every ordinary Ghanaian know. And today,
but Japa has been cleared by the
I said what happened? Every Ghanaian know. And so here, and we have a minister of sanitation that allegedly that his houseboys and girls sold millions of CDs, and then there was news all over, the media carried it. Me, myself, and you debated it. Quickly, the president and the lady resigned. The president took pen and paper and said, "Look, I have confidence in you. Don't worry, we'll sort you out. I have confidence in you. We know that at the end of the day."
Say we'll sort you out.
Nobody said I have confidence in you.
Having confidence in somebody,
with somebody that an issue come out and you have not even investigated it, and you have confidence in him.
Doesn't mean that you.
And so what do we see? Then the special prosecutor has taken over again. The second special prosecutor appointed under him, who he wanted to fight corruption, took over the case. Rosalind, the special prosecutor is a lawyer. Kesia Jabi is a young man lawyer who has handled so many cases in this country. Kesia Jabi knows the law that if you want to freeze somebody's account, there's a duration. It's 7 days. After 7 days, that you send to court to put injunction on to freeze your account until investigation is done before the court can release your account. But version of not even having power, not even running the East office, they ask him to stay out after 7 days before you go. So this is awam.
How?
It is clearly awam. Kesia Jabin knows that after 7 days, you can't go and put injunction on somebody's finances. As to whether the money is for you or not, it's a legal process. It's investigation that you are conducting. So he knows the process. So all that they are doing, it means that as president said he has confidence in the woman, so president knows what they were doing. So that's the confidence that came in. And this is what Ghanaians must know.
Please. You can have confidence in somebody, but it doesn't mean that you're going to do it.
We have found out that millions of dollars was in somebody's room. And the person said, yes, it is true, I have that millions of dollars. Ghanaians are crying foul. Ghanaians are saying that the system is not good. Dollar is escalating.
But what proves that money is even hers? Yes,
whether it's for her or not, whether it's for her or not, that is why investigation is going on. I cannot clearly say the money is for her, whatever it is. But Roshan, what I know, as the other day say, there's no law that says you can't keep money in somebody's room. But what I ask you to know, how do you have millions of dollars in your room? In which account did you go and withdraw the money? Where did the money come from? What is the source of the money? Did you fly from a plane because you are an aviation minister? Then you use aviation to fly the money into the country? Might it be money laundering? Is it because you are a minister of sanitation and you were given 48 million Ghana cedi to go and dredge Odo, pick rubbers and peppers in Odo, and that's part of the money that is there? Is it that? It's a question I'm asking.
I know you're asking those questions, but why those questions? Why can't you ask questions like, could it be that it's for this person and the person asked you to keep it? Could it be that it's for that person? Why are we asking these questions?
If I would not even have 500 Ghana cedi in my room. If I have any money, I'll dump it in the bank.
That's your choice.
No, but you see, as to whoever the money is for, it's not my problem. You see, how did the money come? Did it come from this? That is why Office of the Special Prosecutor
decided to see
decided to investigate and see the source of the money. If it's genuine, why not?
But the investigation hasn't been stopped. It's just a seizure of the monies that are supposed to be released.
But if the court of competent jurisdiction knows very well, and the court is right. I'm telling you, the court is right because Kisia Jabi know the right thing to do before the money will be frozen. President John Dramani Mahama and President knows froze Oyomi's account.
But do you think Kisia Jabi did it? Did he do it?
He did it out of time.
Out of time?
Out of time. Which he knows that if it's out of time, you can freeze it. Somebody is somewhere.
So you are saying that
somebody is somewhere remoting it.
You are saying that they threw dust in our eyes. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, that's what they're trying to do. The president told us that they have confidence in him. So I mean, that's president's appointee. Look, the court did the right thing. I mean, now let me applaud the court of what
they're going by law, and the court says because by law he's supposed to apply for confirmation of seizure within 7 days.
Yes,
and he did not.
You sat down after 14 days or 15 days that you go to court to do what? You think we are fools as Ghanaians?
No, you see,
we are not.
Richard, that is an unfair word to use. You see, the OSP has also explained itself. That's why I'm saying all these has to do with legalities. The OSP has explained that the freezing of the account was to aid
investigation.
All right, was to aid investigation.
Yes.
It was not the main kind of.
But by law.
By law, there's a donation.
But you see, to even adduce or to sit here and try to create the impression that the OSP was deliberate.
I didn't say the OSP.
Hold on. You mentioned that it's a scam. You said awam.
I didn't
you said you used awam. I even wrote it here. He said what the OSP has done is an awam, or to wit, a scam, and that the OSP was well aware that it was supposed to have filed an application within 7 days of seizing the woman's properties. And I am also telling you that that's not the case. He seeks to create the impression that there is a collaboration, and he even brought the president in this, that the OSP played some kind of negligence in performing its duty, so that the court would. No, that's and I am saying that, and I'm saying that cannot be the case.
What the court said is that you are a lawyer. You know what to do. You know the right thing. It's just like you know that you have to wake up in the morning and come here on Mondays and come and have a show. If you can't make it, you pick up a phone and you call and you tell us that you cannot make it. Now, you don't come and then you say, oh, I'm here, so put me on TV. Probably you come when the segment is over, you say, put me on TV. Obviously, we can't put you on TV. And so somebody somewhere will say that Manasseh knew he was supposed to be here at this time. And he knows the job and he got here late. So who is to be blamed?
What I'm saying is
we can't put you on TV because you came late.
Yes, and I am saying that the OSP has explained that
this is an absolute lawyer, you know that.
Hold on, Richard, will you let me speak? The OSP has explained that the application he did was only to aid the investigation, and it is not the main basis
we are
of the investigation. And
laws,
I'm saying yes.
So
that's
why
I'm saying.
Stick to the
that's
law?
why I'm saying, in the understanding of the OSP, he felt he did not breach. He did not breach. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, as per its own act, by delaying the application, he knew that he wasn't breaching its own act, Act 959. But the court has also ruled that no, you have breached it. So this has to do with the laws and the interpretations of the law. My problem and my difficulty has to do with Richard sitting here and insinuating that this was a deliberate. Hold on, it was a deliberate attempt by the OSP to relax.
Let's not look at
its own operation so that the money should be returned to the woman. That is my problem.
Let's look at the realities. Let's forget about what Richard said. The reality on the ground. He's an absolute lawyer.
Sure.
He's been in office for a long time. He's practiced for a very long time.
Sure.
Highly respected. Sure. This is somebody that he's won too many cases than a lot of lawyers out there. He knows what the law says. Now, this person probably has even put injunction on other people's properties, and so he knows the procedure.
Yeah.
The same person now doesn't do the right thing and says, oh, I'm doing it this way. Well, you know exactly what the court says.
No, Roslyn, you see, the duty of the OSP is to investigate corruption and corruption-related incidences or cases. Now, there were alleged incidences of corruption, and in any case, the OSP or the court, nobody in this country has been able to establish any corruption as to the volumes of money the Cecilia Adapa was holding. That is one. And so this money is not the main basis of the investigation. The OSP is investigating corruption and corruption-related incidences as it relates to this money. And so the OSP knew that this money is only aiding. It is not the main basis, but it is only aiding in his responsibility of investigating.
Why seize it?
So that, I mean, we may have to find out from the OSP, but you see, the point is that, hold on, Richard, the point is that, you see, once again, no law in this country prohibits anybody from holding any amount of money. You see, but once you are a public figure, when huge sums of monies, especially as it relates to foreign, hold on, I'm coming there.
Because I don't have all day. Why seize it if you are saying that it's not supposed to aid in your investigation? Why seize it?
No, and I'm explaining that the OSP felt that
there's feelings in law. There's no feelings in law.
No, but that was the basis on which.
I say there's nothing like feelings.
Okay, so
when
the
law
OSP,
is the law.
Okay, so let me. So the OSP, as per its own rules, knew that. You are teaching me laws. So you see, once a public officer has such amount of, foreign currency at home, it raises a lot of questions. It raises a lot of questions, and so the OSP in its operations
were raised. He had within 7 days to go to court, which he did not. Waited after 7 days, went to seize. Why the wait?
Yes, that's why I'm saying in the first place. Once you see such amounts of dollars in someone's room, you see, you've not been able to establish any criminality as it relates to the amount of money the person has.
So don't seize at all. Let it pass.
Exactly. So you see, for me, and you see, this OSP court issue is good, but it is shifting the attention of Ghanaians on the core issue. What Ghanaians want to know, really, as it relates to Honorable Cecilia Adapa, is for the court to, or even the OSP to establish whether or not there are corruption in this issue, whether or not the foreign currency found in the woman's home was stolen money or not. How did she get that money? That is the crux of the matter. So we are supposed to ensure that the OSP is able to bring finality.
The reality of the matter is that fact is that nobody denying that, and I can't sit there and say Cecilia Adapa is a criminal because I don't have any fact to say she's a criminal. And we all know that a OSP is just investigating the issue. After investigation, he's just a special prosecutor. His duty is to investigate, get the evidence, and take it to the court. And the court, he is just a prosecutor at the court for court to do determination.
Yeah.
But also the fact of the matter is that the special prosecutor said, look, let's freeze the account and freeze all his accounts. When we finish the investigation and the court determined that you are right, isn't it? When the court determines that the money belongs to you genuinely, it becomes your money. But when the court determines that you are a criminal, we call you a criminal. But as it stands now, it's not that. So when you're talking whether or not the duty of the special prosecutor is to investigate, nobody disputes that fact. The fact of the matter is that the special prosecutor knows the time duration of going to court and for court order to freeze the account. You understand? Why did you wait till the time expired before you now go to court? So the court, in its own wisdom, a court of competent jurisdiction must do its job. And that's why I'm saying that this boils down to clearing agents. This boils down to somebody that have confidence in you.
You can say,
I mean, what is it? What is it?
But you don't have proof that it was somebody who told the special prosecutor not to go to. You don't have proof.
Matabidi told us.
Oh, please.
Matabidi told us that.
The same Matabidi mentioned government official one. How did you take it?
Matabidi told us that.
But he doesn't have anything to do with
the other person issue. He has been in that office before. And Matabidi told us that, look, the government has hand in operationalization of institutions. Even he can consider Jabi, even complain about that office before. So somebody is something somewhere and placing a call, wait, after 7 days, go to court and the power get their money.
Alleged. Anyway, we continue with our next conversation, which has to do with Mr. John Dramani Mahama saying that Akufo-Addo, that's the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has packed the courts with NPP-inclined judges, and he says that the NDC must balance it. He actually urged the lawyers in NDC to get more, even those who are not even in law, to look into going into law, get to the bar so that he can actually push more of them and have a balanced equation when they come to power, if they come to power in 2024. Richard, I know you are excited about this one. What do you have to say about it?
Me, for instance, John Dramani Mahama, I know well. I've worked with him for long. I've worked with him for long. And I know he's a very democratic president, and President Mahama has been a president before. He was executive. The judicial, the head of judicial was also appointed by the MPP. He worked with him very well. You recall. So what he's trying to say is that there's perception and notions that the way President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo keep on appointing the judicial heads, and it's becoming too much, and then. We believe that there should be equity in everything that you do in government. There should be equity even in appointment. There should be equity even in your media house. There's always been equity, isn't it? Because equity means that you are a presenter and somebody is a cameraman, somebody is a producer, somebody is a cleaner, somebody is a security man. So there should be equity in every institution. But you see, people have that notion, the public perception that most of the judges, quote and unquote, I don't have evidence on that, most of them are.
It's a perception.
It's a perception that most of them are MPP. But whatever it is, so President Mahama is saying that, yes, if you have the perception that they are MPP, you should go into law. Study law. Well, but
he didn't say if you have perception. He actually used
I am here to represent him, so let me.
Yeah, but I'm
here to represent him. So what he's saying is
let me say what he said. He said, currently the judiciary is packed with NPP-inclined judges because this government has carried out a deliberate policy of putting their people onto the bench. He, Akufo-Addo, has appointed the biggest number of judges onto the bench. It's more than 80 towards 100 and counting. You can see what the current president has done. He further says he further says that so I encourage some of you to look at careers on the bench so that we can balance out what the current situation is. We must be prepared as NDC legal persons to also go onto the bench so that we can balance out the judiciary. So he didn't allege. He didn't.
So even if he didn't allege, even if we allege, the brigadier's daughter also knows that, and I've also said that most of the judges at the bench, even when
I've said what?
No, when we went to the Supreme Court for our elections, you know what happened. People clearly shows that some of them were MPP.
Ooh.
So he's saying that.
People?
So President,
we don't know anything.
Ghanaians, public opinion. So he also saying that he has urging the NDC, including myself, you, Rosalind, as an NDC girl.
I'm not an NDC girl, please.
Okay, you are no more NDC.
I'm not NDC.
Okay, so
I am not any political party. He's not associated with any political party.
so we also have to go into the law career, so that when we also come in 2025 and you are qualified to go to the bench, we put you there. So I want you to take the opportunity to urge every Ghanaian who is a sympathizer of the NDC, even if you are MPP and you are a genuine MPP person and want to go to the bar, look into the career. By 2025 7th, when President John Mahama is swearing in, we're not going to do a speed up economy. And so
are you going to retire the 80 there?
Oh, it will depend. I can sit here and talk about that, yes. So we are going to do a speed up economy because we want to have a robust economy. We want to make all the institutions work. The judiciary will work well, the legislature will work well, and the executive, as President John Dramani Mahama, that one, the confidence is there with you. So that's not an issue to be said that he has descended on the judges. He's just encouraging the young ones to go into the career and then make sure that tomorrow you can also sit somewhere and blame them. But also the fact of the matter is that if you are not into agric, and it's fun to be located for agric people, you a journalist cannot go for agric fund. So when you are into journalism, and media commission is bringing money for journalists, you can get your share. So that's what he's telling us. Okay. So young ones go into the bench, make sure you study the law very well. Maybe I must also join one day, so that when we are into the bench and everybody gets a share.
Okay.
It's nothing to people but the media. I think it's the Daily Guide that said
it's in front of all newspapers.
Which newspaper?
Yeah. It's so Daily Guide says Mahama attacked Nana and judges.
That's pro MPP.
Wait, there's more.
There's more. This is Daily Graphic. This is a national paper.
But which one
this is a national paper. This is Daily Guide.
But which one is not?
This is Daily Guide. Have you seen anything like that? No, this is Daily Guide. Ghanaians should watch. Have you seen anything?
Mahama like cries out. Ghana's judiciary packed with MPPs.
This Crusading Guide. Which one owns the paper? I'm saying who owns the paper?
Daily Statesman, Mahama under fire over dangerous comments about
the paper?
Richard, he said it. So why are you trying to run away from this?
These are pro-MPP papers.
But
he stood on the podium and he said this himself. And now you are running away.
This is misquoting of words.
How is it misquoting? But what I read was actually quoted.
This is Daily Guide, the state paper. This is not MPP headquarters papers.
But he spoke it.
I said this is not.
Did he say it or he didn't say it?
He didn't say what they are saying.
No, what I read.
He's encouraging the young ones.
What I read,
yes,
he said it.
He's encouraging the young ones.
Richard
he's encouraging the young ones to go into the career so that one day, if you also want to be called to the bar and it's a president, you can also know what to do.
Okay.
So you see, let me do as if
you see.
So no, read Daily Guide. These are MPP headquarters papers.
You see, Richard for the first time is running away from the person he defends every day, because he knows deep down in his heart that the excessive crying out of the former president and the excessive bastardization of the court system or the judiciary is unfair. For him to make a statement that the current president has packed the courts with MPP inclined, judges, this is an unfair statement. It's an unfortunate statement, and this seeks to taint the profession. You have your own people. You see, at the end of his statement, he was now encouraging the NDC to venture more into the law. So you have your own people; they are not interested in entering into law. And you see, when former President Gaddafi passed
he actually was addressing his people who are in law.
I'm coming there.
So
I remember
you see,
when the former president of Libya passed on, former President Gaddafi. I remember by then I was at the University of Ghana. So former President Rawlings of blessed memory came to deliver a speech at a great hall, and he bemoaned the low interest of the NDC in reading law. He said, I was seated there, young guy watching him like this, and he said, what saddens him the most is that most of the NDC guys are not interested in reading law. They're not interested in studying. And so you have your own people having no interest or little interest.
What you're saying, I wasn't there.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I made reference to the speech. We can always verify. We can always verify. Of course, that's why I told you where the speech was held. So you have your own people showing lower interest in a profession, and now you come back and you are crying foul
But what has profession got to do with political parties?
Of course, that's the question you should ask the former president.
No, I'm asking you.
No, it's for him to answer. It's for him to answer because
interest.
You see,
because you can have even thousands of members in a political party in one particular career area, and you can still encourage more people into it. So what has that got to do with? They are not interested in law.
You see, my point is that for him to even make the assertion that the current judges we have are MPP inclined is unfortunate. It is highly unfortunate. There has been a lot of instances where this current government will go to court on several issues and the government would certainly not win.
Which ones?
So there are a lot of instances. There are a lot. There are a lot. Even the I can give you the issue
for the viewers at home, please join our conversation.
Roslyn, I can give you the current issue. Hold on.
Let me try and get to the viewers to join the conversation.
James Jechikwesin's issue. Who won? You remember recently?
Which one?
Well, we're still in court.
We're still in court.
That one,
recently, there were various issues on that. Most of them.
No. They were still in court.
Hold on.
I can mention.
That was legal association.
James Jechikwesin's issue.
Richard, Manasseh. James didn't win.
When they are,
James hasn't won any issue.
No. I am talking about when.
Yeah.
Okay,
we were heading towards. Hold on. When we were heading towards the by-election,
yes.
You remember? And we had filed that we would even need him in court every day. What was the ruling of the court? The court ruled that he should go about his normal duty and that he would not be needed at the court every day to listen to the ruling.
Manasseh.
Who won in that regard?
Manasseh, you actually filed for that. It started. His lawyers actually also filed.
It's a motion. And who ruled? Hold on. Was it not a judge who ruled on that?
Win in
so
court.
Our lawyer, hold on.
Let me encourage my viewers to send
the attorney general filed, your lawyer filed, and the judge at the court ruled.
Has been made.
The judge at the court ruled that no, it's not needed at the court.
It's a legal issue.
Gentlemen.
This is just a simple thing.
Okay, I'm going to read some comments here. Former President Mahama fighting judges. So did he pack the court before winning 2012 election petition? I always advise that silence will be golden for him. From Ajenim Boatin Domi Pillar 2. Thank you so much, Ajenim, for sending your message. Lovely good morning to you all. What are you expecting from the insensitive government? They are drinking, eating and bathing in corruption. This Cecilia's case will not go anywhere. Have you ever seen any corruption case under this government unearthed before? Certainly no. The only person who has the ball to tackle and eradicate this canker is Honorable Kennedy Ejapong. A vote for Kennedy Ejapong is a vote for reviving MPP. The truth is bitter. Sochre Rudolph says, good morning live and wow. Good morning. This is Sochre or Secret. Brenda Nchidonko, good morning Rosalind and your guest. I think the NSS farm project is a good idea. So is it possible to replicate it in the junior and senior high? I remember we have school farms back in school and produce were sold at cheaper prices to students and teachers. Why did this practice stop? As the two able men, how they can ask their political parties to ensure sustainability and not who started it. That's very true.
Yes.
How do we ensure it?
That's why I bring up President yourself.
That's why I bring up President and that will be sustainability.
Yes, and strengthen youth in agri, then to move youth Minister of Agri to Minister of Agri and Agribusiness.
Okay. Aaron Beba Kokomisa says, good morning to you. I think we experience serious floods in certain parts of the country due to the following reasons. Number 1, poor road network system. 2, bad drainage system. 3, either town planners are not professionals or they lack the technical know-how. But I think aside from the government focusing on how to strengthen the economy through her program that is one district, one factory, the government should seriously consider how to battle or fight or minimize flooding in the system. I think I've already done this, okay? I'm an observer, not a passive observer, but active observer. And an observer is more than a prophet. I've said it before that when Kennedy Ejapong becomes president, Ghanaians will suffer because he will become like his slaves. He won't value us as human beings. And he will even use his left hand to point at us when speaking to Ghanaians in public or during his State of the Nation address. Hey. I see. So you can also join by sending your messages to us, and we are talking about, issues concerning you and us. Let's talk about this one. Daniel Maliok says the posture of this government concerning the fight against corruption clearly shows that they are willing to show commitment in fighting corruption and punishing persons who engage in corruption to deter other individuals who resort to engaging in same. The quest with which the current president defends his appointees who are fingered in corruption allegations has emboldened many people to engage in corruption-related activities without any fear of prosecution and other punitive measures. All right. If you're home and you want to join the conversation, our WhatsApp number is active. Just sending your messages to us, and we'll definitely read it. So, gentlemen are, going up and down with regards to, what former President John Dramani Mahama said. Let's go on to our next topic. And Richard, I'll start off with that with you, because I know you are fully charged for more of that. Let's talk about your petition. We know that you petitioned the police to embark on a demonstration so the BOG governor and his 2 deputies will resign. The police actually said that they went to court to put an injunction on you so you don't embark on that demonstration. They gave you an alternative route, but you said the route is not good enough. So you've gone back to court to file a petition so that you'll be able to embark on that route. Start off with you, Richard.
So listen, what Ghanaians doesn't know about this demonstration is that it's a sad situation as a Ghanaians as we are today, including you, Rosalind. And the fact is that our Bank of Ghana is collapsed. And if you look at what happened in the Bank of Ghana, and then even IMF is even telling us that next year we will have a lot of money that has been collapsed. And I was thinking, we were taking it lightly. I heard a local government expert, government representative in local government, Miracle Abuaji, the other day speaking, and I said, look, you said money is lost. At the time they were paying NAPCO workers, where did they think we get money from? At the time we were giving water, where did they think we get the money from? At the time we didn't budget for so many things, where did they think that we get the money from? So I didn't know that was why they went for him, because he's a presidential staffer, and he makes that comment, and I was shocked. I was like, hey, I thought this was just a joke. If you said at the time we did this, you went to Bank of Ghana and took Anti-Money Watch's tax and use it to do that. And I was reading something, Rosalind, not knowing these people use 11 million Ghana cedi and send to fitting shop that are going to do maintenance of a car. It's a computer-related issue, about 70-something million Ghana cedi. And so we are saying that, look, our tax money should be very recommended. Our tax is important. I know there's somebody sitting by me who is an economics expert who come and give you economic indication. But I'm talking to a cocoa seller and a farmer. I'm talking to Nakoja in Bunache, who has farmed and brought his produce to Agbobulushi and paid tax and sent the money to BOT.
You see, the police didn't stop you.
Hold on. I want to give the preamble of it and tell you why we want to.
But everybody knows the preamble. In a nutshell, BOG has run at a loss of 60.8 billion Ghana.
It's not a run at a loss. If you say that's not,
but that's why it said.
No, the money is lost.
It's the loss.
That's what it means.
Okay, so this is what it says. The march is aimed at getting the Bank of Ghana governor and his 2 deputies to resign from office due to the over 60.8 billion Ghana cedis losses the central bank recorded.
Losses here.
Now you run at a loss.
Let's speak to losses here.
You have run at a loss. Losses
no. Losses.
Did you say the money has vanished?
They're not saying.
There's a difference, Richard.
Vanished.
There is a difference. There's a difference between Ayura vanished or missing and lost. Waboka.
Okay, and so all the money we got, they chop the money and then we are in loss.
They chop it where?
Oh, but what are you saying?
Well, you had an alternative route. The police gave you an alternative route. Why don't you want to use the alternative?
So we are saying that we are saying that minority and the NDC and the ordinary Ghanaian, the one in Agbobulushi, the one in the Mokwala market, the one in the person in the jungle who is sitting in the drinking spot today, say that, look, we want to occupy BOG. So when we occupy BOG, the BOG boss and his 2 deputies must resign. So the president, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, appoint new BOG that can manage the BOG well, because we've seen BOG bosses that have made this country well, the like of Kwamnadu for and
so you still want to
so we want to go and occupy BOG. So when we went to the You know, what you should know is that the Ghana Police Service doesn't give permit for demonstration. They only give protection for us. So we went to sit with them, and then we negotiate as to how we can do the demonstration, how the number of policemen they can give us, how they can protect us, and then to make sure that we occupy BOG and make sure our revenues are counted. So after that, they came in and told us that, yes, they will not let us pass through that route. And then, you know why they said they will not going to give us the favor? They said, if the school, and then so if you pass through those routes, they might be cool. And we are saying that, yes, if they might be cool, when people know that we are holding Ghanaians accountable, we are holding the
president. Why should they be cool?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons they gave us.
Maybe and they pick something under intelligence. Do you think
are we in Ghanaian?
I'm asking a question.
So we are saying that is even the best way. The demonstration will be the best way to protect coup in Ghana. You know why? To prevent coup in Ghana, because when we are on the street demonstrating, ordinary person, the soldier, the policeman will know that we are holding government accountable. So there's no need for anybody to take over.
Okay.
And so we want to take that route. And they are saying that they are not allowing us to take that route.
But you can still be on the road. So they actually proposed an alternative route.
Yes.
And the alternative route had to do with, so they said you will start off at Osu. So you started from Parliament House through the Osu Cemetery traffic lights and you end at the Independence Square. But you don't want it. You want to go through Makola.
We are going to BOG.
You don't want to enter.
No, we are going to be. We are occupying BOG.
So now you filed a motion in court.
No, yes, but Rosalind, if I'm coming to Joy Prime to give you a document, why should I go and sign a circle?
Okay.
How does that make sense?
All right, Manasseh.
No, so Rosalind, we are in court, and I'm sure that we will occupy BOG and make sure that everybody.
But your flag bearer says that the bench is full of NPP inclined judges. So are you sure you win this in court?
Oh, so let's see. So it's also determined that my flag bearer said it's encouraging people to go into law. Rosalind, don't be biased.
I am not being biased. Should I give you back the word?
Like Richard, he said this. Why are you running away from this?
Why are you dodging the BOG issue?
He said,
Richard, let us speak.
We are discussing BOG.
No.
Okay, no, listen.
He said it.
We are discussing BOG.
Fair enough.
So why do you divert attention?
I haven't
What's your agenda?
You
are doing a paradox shift of your communication.
Richard,
doing I am not doing a paradigm shift. I asked the question and I will ask the question. He said it and we stick to it. I move on to you, Manasseh. Richard, please, your time is up. Manasseh, please make your point.
We'll go to the BOG.
Rosalind, is it not funny for the NDC to continuously be making the wrong assertions that the courts have been packed with MPP people, and yet they are confident that they want to take this issue of BOG demonstration to court? You see, in the first place, I do not see any need for the minority to embark on this demonstration.
Why?
Why? Because when you look at the reasons for the losses, being the 50% haircut, together with other expenditure the BOG incurred, they have been explicit in explaining the reasons for this. And if not for the timely intervention of the BOG, this country would have collapsed.
It has collapsed already?
It would have collapsed.
It has collapsed.
Let's not forget that if you would recall, even in 2020, there was a time when there was lockdown in Accra, Kaswa, and Tema. Don't forget that for 8 months, most government workers were not working. Even private school teachers were being paid by government. And so in all these instances where businesses were shut down, government couldn't raise a lot of revenue, and so it was the BOG that supported government with all these finances to ensure that we are able to even keep our lights on, to ensure we are able to pay government workers and all of that. Now, for Richard to make the assertion that BOG is collapsed is very untrue.
Collapsed? Did he say that?
He said that. You were even trying to.
He said BOG is collapsed.
He said BOG is collapsed. He said BOG. I wrote it. I like writing.
Okay.
And I don't want to put or force words into people's mouths. So when you speak, I'll write. He said BOG is collapsed, and it's not true. If for nothing at all, we are in the 9th month, right, of this year, and the losses BOG incurred was reported for 2022. Have you heard this year that BOG is unable to pay its workers, or BOG is unable to go about a supervisory role. Have you heard that?
But Manasseh,
BOG is running, and you see, let's understand that these are technical losses, as you explained. No money is lost. No one has stolen any money.
It's not true.
No one has stolen money. No money is lost.
Richard.
These are technical losses in the books of BOG. And so when you read the BOG statement, you realize that some of these losses date as far back as even 1990. When you look at the advances or the operations between BOG and even some of our state-owned institutions,
Manasseh,
there are a lot of losses that exist.
It dates back as far as what?
As 1990.
But if you say that, you know that the BOG made some profit. So when it made a profit, how did it cover the losses?
Rosalind, don't forget that.
We were in Ghana here when BOG came to declare that they had made profit. And if you make profit, it means that you have covered your losses and you've made profit.
No.
So then that's not it. So you make profit and you leave your losses hanging.
No. So
because immediately this 60.8 billion cedi, you're able to raise it to cover up your debt. You come and tell us that we've cleaned everything up, won't you?
No, you see, there are certain losses
that you don't cover.
So indent and they are. What's the word?
I told you he'll give you economic indications. And
no, so you see,
and then confuse
no, what I want to mean is that when you look at the operations of BOG, and even with Cocoa Board and other state-owned institutions, and even with government, you realize that there are certain losses that has been in their books for quite a long time, and usually sometimes they even write them off. The fact that you make profit today doesn't mean you don't have some line expenditure that are captured as debts, of which for a long time you've not been able to even recoup.
Don't you think that it's only right that an opposition party who feels that things are not going well should embark on a demonstration? Because we saw your government do it in your time. You felt that things were not going right. You embarked on a demonstration. It was a peaceful one. You wore your red armbands and everything. It happened. It worked. Why should we stop there? Well, you haven't been stopped though. But why should we stop their route? You know, the kind of route they want to use.
You see, when you look at the intentions of the NDC and what they seek to do, in the first place, in this country, we all have our right to demonstrate. And so if you feel that the BOG is not working as you would want it to work and you want to demonstrate, that is fine. So you write an application or a letter to the Ghana Police Service. And you would define hold on, please. Whether a letter or whatever,
it's a notification.
It's the same thing. Is it in the end? Is it not a letter? I've seen the letter you've written to them. It's a letter.
It's not an application.
It's just a letter.
To notify them.
Of course. So it's a letter, or is it not a letter?
Whether it's a letter or it's application, something has been taken to the police.
Now, the Ghana Police Service is saying that when you look at the route the NDC wants to ply, walking through from Parliament, through Makola to Opera Square and then to Bank of Ghana, it will not be possible. The reason is that today, go to Opera Square, go to Makola, and you see how choked the place is. And we know these people for what they've been doing in this country over the years.
Wait, you said Makola is choked?
Of course.
How is it choked?
Makola is choked with cars and people and a lot of that. And you see, the police has said that if the NDC wants to use Makola, they cannot guarantee the public safety of people who are around there. They cannot guarantee the provision of essential services.
That's the work of the police.
At Makola.
The police
that is why.
That's why they went to the police to tell them that we are embarking on this journey and we need you. So you look at the route and you look at the number of personnel that you put on there to protect the individuals.
Rosalind,
right?
It has to be established
that
the fact that you want to do a demonstration and the fact that you define your route doesn't mean whether the Ghana Police Service likes it or yes, they should approve that route for you. That's not the case. That is why the Ghana Police Service will also have to do...
We understand that perfectly. My point is that they came to you that these are the routes that we want to embark on. You assess the route, you assess the number of persons that you put in charge to protect the people. So if they say that they're embarking on a route, Makola here, and these are the numbers, you also buffer for your number, and then you let them protect them. If they're embarking on another route, you reduce the numbers. That's how it works, isn't it?
No, you see, so the Ghana Police Service proposed an alternative route for them, and they've rejected it. That is fair. And now the issue is at court. But you see, you hear a lot of rantings by the NDC that whether they like it or not, we would go through that same route.
To court. It's just a
of course. And
when court actually says no, they can't do anything. If court says yes, then Ghana Police too doesn't have anything.
Have you not heard a lot of the NDC propagators saying that whether the court rules for or against them, they will use the same route?
I haven't heard it.
Ask him. He even said the same thing.
I haven't heard. No,
he's been saying that.
Anyway,
Richard has been saying that.
Let me quickly read some messages coming in because I don't remember Richard saying
no one has chopped money.
I don't remember that.
Richard said someone has chopped money. He has to provide evidence to that. It is not true. No one has chopped any money.
So why is Manasseh not ready to answer a simple question? You were asked why then did the special prosecutor freeze Madam Cecilia's account, and is Manasseh also telling Ghanaians this morning that the special prosecutor is not aware of that aspect of the law that you must go to court to seek permission within 7 days after freezing Madam Cecilia's account? Then Manasseh, you are telling this morning that our OSP is incompetent. Good morning. This is Bennett from Abutia Chloe. Power will surely exchange hands. This is the first time Bennett is sending a message. Thank you so much, Bennett, for sending us the message. Please continue sending your messages. Hi, good morning. I'm Kelvin. President Mahama should be quiet. All right. Thank you, Kelvin, for sending in your message. Good morning to you, Rosalie, and your panel. I'm always crashing on Manasseh. Hey! Okay. But I say I have a secret as well.
Okay. I see, I understand.
No, it's because you're married.
I understand.
Good morning.
Everybody knows you are married.
All right, let me continue reading my messages. Good morning. John Mahama is becoming too desperate to return to as president. He said he's going to pack the courts with NDC judges to balance the situation. Winning cases is not, it's about law and evidence. So his comments are unfortunate as a statesman. Abdul Karim Zugulana from Gushegu. Thank you so much, Abdul. Thank you. Good morning to you, Rosalie. Your guest, John Mahama, should focus on getting a solid candidate for NDC and retire this 2024 and stop accusing President Akufo-Addo and the judges. Abdullahi Moses, Sola, Tuna, Kalba, District of Savannah Region. Thank you so much, Abdullahi. I'm very happy that you sent a message. Good morning, Madam Host. My greetings to your panels. Tell the NDC man to tell Ghanaians what they will do when given the power come December 2024. From Figo, Assembly Member Hopeful for Inquanta Central Electoral Area. Thank you so much. Good morning, Roslyn. What ex-President Mahama is saying is that every successive government has the power to appoint judges into the bar. For the sensitive native of the court system, you have to do so with caution to gain trust. But this current president has appointed more than 10 Supreme Court judges, more than every president in history, making it look like an agenda to choke the judiciary. Kingsford from Kumasi. Thank you so much, Kingsford, for sending your message. Good morning, please. The drum of coup d'etat that the NDC members are beating in the country will now certainly be danced if NDC come back to power. St. Hubert Cherepone. Okay, thank you so much for sending your message. Please again, we don't support any coup, and so for that, thank you for sending your message, but we don't support coup. Please read this to the NDC guy in the studio. Bank of Ghana therefore acted as a loss absorber. This means that the Bank of Ghana has to absorb a 50% haircut on its non-marketable holdings of government debt instruments. This singular act led to significant impairment losses of 32.3 billion Ghana cedis to the bank's account. Impairment of marketable instruments also accounted for another 16.1 billion Ghana cedis, bringing the total impairment of government holdings to 48.4 billion Ghana cedis. As experienced by central banks globally, price and exchange rate movement led to a loss of 5.2 billion Ghana cedis, whilst impairments of cocoa board loans amounted to 4.7 billion Ghana cedis. This is the reason the Bank of Ghana reported a loss of 60 billion in 2022. Central banks are not commercial banks. This financial outcome has very little implications for the operations of the Bank of Ghana, as supported by evidence from other country banks. Technically, central banks cannot be insolvent or bankrupt. Bank of Ghana assures stake keyholders, and the general public that we are committed to the highest standards of prudent management, governance, and transparent accounting and audit practices. Zakari Osman Lejekuku. Thank you so much, Zakari. Looks like you are writing us from Bank of Ghana. Thank you for watching the show. We are grateful. All right. So it looks like
doesn't work anywhere. He understands the issue better than I.
We are going far. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We are very grateful.
Give us a minute or two.
Unfortunately,
tell Figo that.
Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds each. Okay, Manasseh, let me start with you.
You see, so I want to establish that the Bank of Ghana is a national security installation, and so the aggressive quest of the NDC to want to enter Bank of Ghana to do whatever they want to do will never happen. And the changing of the route or the suggestion by the police service will not in any way prevent or impede the intentions of the demonstration. And so it has to be established that, of course, they have their right to demonstrate, but they do not necessarily have to go to the security installation, the national security apparatus, for their views to be heard. And I have to establish quickly that no one has chopped money. Richard sat here and he said, oh, they've chopped the money. It is not true. These are technical losses, and they do not in any way affect the operations of the Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana is still working to ensure we have price stability and financial stability.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Manasseh. Richard, quickly.
Rosalie, our money will be counted. We'll go for the demonstration. You remember?
That is if court allows.
Yeah, if court allows. You remember your demonstration?
Remember
during the levy demonstration.
Let my votes count.
It was
See
the
how
same.
people were shipped.
No, please, when we're talking,
go there, you'll be shipped.
We passed through. But Rosalie, I want to emphasize and tell Ghanaians that President John Dramani Mahama has a hope for them. We are not going to run the next government more than 16 ministers, and they should be aware. We are going.
What did you do when you were in power?
What did he do
when he was in power?
He was quiet.
He's only deceiving us.
We are going to put up national apprenticeship program for those who don't have access to education, want to go into technical and vocational education, will get something to do. Running through 24 shift.
When you were in power, were you able to do all this?
We are going to run 24.
He's only trained.
We are going to run 24 shift economy, so the job will be abundant, and from that we're building 60 new universities, 6 new hospitals.
All right.
One will
thank
be
you so much.
infectious center. So the NDC
all these are
all right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. We are very grateful.
Tell Figo I will vote for him.
Figo understands the issues more than
He's in a letter.
Figo understands the issues.
From the NPP and Richard Manurubi from the NDC. These two gentlemen want to beat me this morning. They are going to buy a ticket to my stage play, which happens in October 14th. Sound of Music. Get your money ready because the tickets are ready.